Here we are today, and we're going to ask some questions about Tell Me a Story, and from Madeleine Pizzuti. And why did you want to write a book?
Well, several reasons, Andrew. I've always loved to write, even as a child. You know, I loved essay writing at school, and it's been one of those things on my bucket list to write a book. And yeah, I've written lots of articles and stories and things over the years, but this time I just wanted to write a book. Plus, you know, as you get older, you realise, well, what's going to happen when I'm no longer here? What am I leaving behind? And especially with grandchildren coming into the family, you know, being born, you realise, wow, are they going to forget me one day? I wanted something that they could still remember me, still remember Nanny, you know.
That's lovely.
Yeah.
Now, how did you find the time to manage to write the book when you work full time?
That's a good question. It was tricky. I discovered that there was a particular time in the day where I wasn't necessarily busy, which was around about 9 o'clock at night. And instead of sitting and watching TV, which I could have done, a lot of evenings I went to bed at 9, sat up in bed with a pad of paper and a pen and just physically wrote the stories. And I just, and then, you know, probably the next day or next couple of days I'd transfer it to the computer. But that was the easiest time for me, because even though I was a bit tired, I could reflect easily. I closed the bedroom door, no interruptions, no TV, and I just went for it. And it made me, when I'd finished the story, I would throw the pad of paper on the floor and I'd be happy and content, and I could go to sleep peacefully, you know.
Oh, that's a lovely thought.
Yeah.
Now, are the stories in the book real?
Look, they are real as far as I remember them. They are my memories of different events that happened in my childhood. Obviously, you know, I can't remember every single word that people said. So dialogue might be coming from my imagination a bit. But, you know, as an author, you're allowed to do things like that, I believe, anyway.
Oh, no, that's good.
So.
Now, I believe you did some drawings in the book. Can you show me just an example of one?
I did. I hadn't planned to do drawings, but all of a sudden I started to, you know, draw a few things.
And that is a rabbit, and you've done this, and this is at the start of each chapter?
Of each story, I've drawn a small sketch of something that relates to the particular story. And I like the rabbit.
Yeah, well, that's your favourite.
It's about the Rabbit Hill, which is a place where we used to play as kids, you know. Yeah, so that's just one of the
And how did you find the publishing process?
Look, it was a fantastic journey, I've got to say. It took almost a year from the time that I sent in my manuscript to the time I had the actual book in my hand. So, you know, it was quite a lengthy period. But I knew absolutely nothing about the book trade and the publishing process. So I learned from Troubadour Publishing. They were absolutely fantastic. They took me by the hand and led me step by step through the process. And I loved every minute of it. And I'd definitely go with them again.
And I believe you recently travelled to the UK to promote the book. How was that?
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, really good. I promised myself, when if someone took my manuscript and wanted to publish it, I promised myself that I would go to the UK and promote it. So I had to keep the promise, you know. And it was brilliant, because not only did I visit family and friends and school teachers, actually one school teacher who's in the book I went to visit, and not only did I do that, but I got to meet the publishers. So it was really good to actually physically meet the people that I'd spoken to over the phone and emailed constantly, you know, backwards and forwards.
Now, have you got plans to write another book?
Definitely, yeah.
Now, what's the title?
Well, I don't know whether I should give that away.
Tell Me a Story too?
Well, that's one of the books I want to write. Tell Me Another Story, I might call it. But I've started writing another one called, well, I'm not going to say what it's called, but it's a totally different subject.
Oh, we'll wait in angst. That'll be good.
You might be waiting a couple of years, I think.
Well, it's been lovely to hear your story and telling us about the story. So thank you, Madeleine, and we look forward to reading your great story.
Great. Thanks, Andrew.